All right. We'll call the commissioners back in order. We're in BOE. We'll have the chief deputy swear in all new individuals that are going to testify.
Please stand and raise your right hand if you have a hearing this afternoon.
Everyone that, yeah.
Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. Yes.
Thank you. So, this is a hearing of the Board of Equalization under Idaho Code 63-501. The Board of County Commissioners is required to convene as the BOE. We are here to determine market value under Idaho Code 63-205. All real, personal, and operating property subject to property taxation must be assessed annually at market value for assessment purposes as of 12:01 a.m. of the first day of January in the year in which such property taxes are levied. Furthermore, under Idaho Code 63-502, the function of the Board of Equalization shall be confined strictly to assuring that the market value of assessment for assessment purposes of property has been found by the assessor, and to the functions provided for in Chapter 6, Title 63 of Idaho Code relating to exemptions from taxation. It is hereby made the duty of the Board of Equalization to enforce and compel a proper classification and assessment of all property required under the provisions of this title to be entered on the property rolls, and in so doing, the Board of Equalization shall examine the rolls and shall raise or cause to be raised or lower or cause to be lowered the assessment of any property which in the judgment of the board has not been properly assessed. The taxpayer shall have the burden of proof in seeking affirmative relief to establish that the determination of the assessor is erroneous, including any determination of assessed value. A preponderance of evidence shall suffice to sustain the burden of proof. We're here to discuss the market value of the property, the condition, state, or information that is relevant to this topic. This is fact and not conjecture or things you may think. We're not here to discuss taxes, past grievances, policy, personal income, or other issues. If you do not stick to the discussion as requested, your time will be reclaimed. The process will be that the property owner will have 3 minutes. The white light will come on when you begin, the yellow light comes on with 1 minute left, and when the red light goes on, and a buzzer goes off, you're done talking. And then we can ask questions of the assessor for anything that you said. And then the assessor will have 3 minutes, and then we can ask questions of them, and then you'll have a rebuttal of 2 minutes to anything that the assessor says. Be kind, direct all questions or comments to the board. If your conduct is out of line, you will be warned. If your conduct continues to be out of line, you will be asked or escorted out of the building. Go ahead and state your name and what you're representing.
My name's Philip Colvin. I currently reside at 2366 Legacy Drive, Pocatello, Idaho. I'm here. I don't know if you remember, I was here last year. I'm sorry to say I'm here again. You're going to hear the same argument. I got my appraisal this year, and my lot, I had it knocked down to 92 last year, and it went back up to 120 this year. I live up there in Greenfield Meadows subdivision, just north of the temple on Legacy Drive. I've got a random sampling of houses in the neighborhood. Every house up there's approximately 150 houses up there that have been built since 17. And every one of them up there is appraised, the lot is appraised at $135,000. Now some of the houses up there, for example at 3003 Lois Lane, is a 0.71 acre lot with a $956,000 home on it according to your website. The next one, a 0.46 acre lot at 3076 Lois Lane, $1 million home on it, appraised at $135,000. Because of this 3-minute limit, I forgot about that. But you can look on your website, every lot up there is $135,000. and all of them are bigger. I've tried to figure out why they're based 135,000. I've looked at every lot up there, big lot, small lot, new lot, view lot, corner lots. It doesn't matter. They're just 135,000 from a 0.8 acre down to 0.23 acres. They're 135,000. It makes no sense to me. So I've looked and looked and looked. I can't find any reasoning of the basis of 135,000 on these lots. So last year I came in here and I discovered one street south or west of me is Dusk View. Same subdivision, and all the way down to Andrew, same, it's all a subdivision according to Satterfield Realty that built the subdivision. It's called Greenfield Meadows. They're all at 92,000. So I came in here last year and told you I think my lot should be 92,000 as opposed to the same value as $1 million lots or $750,000 homes, I mean, $1 million homes, and you agreed. This year, I got my assessment, it went back up to 120. So.
All right. Questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Your 3 minutes begin.
Okay, so good afternoon. Our subject property was built in 2018 and has 3,270 square feet, and the assessed value is $612,987. So you subtract out buildings and land, and that brings the price per square foot down to $148 per square feet. The three comparables that we have are all within about a 3-block radius of the subject. Farthest one is only 3 blocks away, and they're all similar sizes. One is 600 square feet larger, and their price per square feet all come in higher. All the parcels in this neighborhood have the same site rating. So basically everything from, we took the sales, analyzed the sales, and determined that in that area, the median value of each parcel should be around 120,000. Last year, of course, they were kind of all over the place, but we did more analysis and determined that 120,000 was closer to what the value should have been. So that's what we appraised it at. So this year, his house is in equity with all the houses around him. The comparables are all 0.29 acres, 0.3 acres, 0.26 acres. His is 0.32 acres. And they're all assessed at the same value. We've determined that if somebody has a parcel that's 5 feet wider than the parcel next to it, they're not going to pay a lot more or a lot less for that parcel just because it's a slight bit of difference in the size of the property. When the appellant is looking at our parcel viewer, he's of course looking at those values from last year, and of course they were kind of all over the place. But we have made more equitable the parcels in the area, all the property up there, and put it at 120,000. So that's why, if you're looking at those old certified values from last year, they're going to be different than what we've actually done this year. So we respectfully request that you uphold the values for the 22 for this year's assessment drive.
Okay. Comment about what he just said.
I'd like to know the addresses of those three comparables and or the street. I don't need the address, just the street.
Yep.
Hawaii, Greenfield.
Greenfield, I don't know. Oh, Greenfield, I know. Yeah. So you're saying you
Okay, you're
changed.
talking to us.
I'm sorry. So you're from what he says, I understand. So all the lots up there that were all last year, 135,000 are now 120,000. Because I don't have that information.
All the comparables, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
my argument still stands. I can't imagine I cannot imagine a $1.1 million home with a, almost a half-acre lot, the lot is the same value as my home. When those lots were sold up there, I bought my lot up there for $65,000 in 2018. And I shopped all the lots. The lots, they were view lots, because they've been on the side of the hill, you get a view of American Falls Reservoir. A regular lot like mine, cheaper, I went cheaper. Corner lots were more. Lots around the temple were $30,000 more. Lots on Mariah Way and Lois Lane over there.
Okay, you're drifting from what he was talking about.
Okay.
And you're going on with your.
Okay, and my comparable, I called the realtor today, comparable, Andrew Street, 2390, is for sale right now. It's been on the market. It's the exact same floor plan as my house, 2390 Andrew. It's up for sale right now.
Okay, and you're going back into your original 3-minute time. That's what you're talking about right now, not what he just talked about, okay?
Okay, I
So-
disagree with the reasoning that every lot up there is the same value. Whether it's 120 or 500,000, I don't care. There is no way a lot right next to the temple is worth a block and a half where my lot is, and 4 lots farther up on that Greenfield. There's no way. They're smaller. They have less value. You cannot appraise them at the same value. There's no way.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Comments, questions?
I'm ciphering, so give me just a second.
Okay. And just to answer that question, when they go and do their evaluations or their appraisals, they're doing a mass appraisal. So
I
they don't go
understand.
look at every single lot.
I understand.
And so when they come up with 120 for everybody in, a mile radius, then that's really the way it's kind of set up for them, that they don't get to look at every single one. And that's why we come in and BOE, and you have the opportunity to present evidence on your lot of why it doesn't have the same value. Yes, Madam Assessor.
So I would like to state that there are some lots of there that are larger than others, and in this year, they have gone up over the 135. So that,
So there has been a size adjustment made on the larger lots.
I thought you just told me they were all 120.
Well, they have a base amount of 120,000 up to a certain amount of size. After that, it increases.
Well, that's not what you just said.
Well, the 120s are the ones that were in their comparables.
Correct.
So they had 3 comparables to go to.
Three
compare
houses,
them.
three
Yeah.
houses out of 150.
Well, that's.
3
what-
houses that sold, I'm
Okay.
guessing.
This isn't a discussion or
All right,
argument.
I'm sorry.
This is,
All right.
she made a comment
All
to
right.
clarify
All
something
right.
that was said.
So typically in construction, when you buy a lot, you build a house that your lot is about a third of what your final value is, correct?
Yes, that's a rule of thumb, yes.
Okay, so using your analysis for your question pertaining to 2390 Andrew, the listing price on that house is $539,000,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Which, using that rule of thumb, would be a lot price of $134,915.
Yes.
If I follow that through on your property, then your lot value would become more like in the $150,000 range.
Yeah, the concern is, why I brought that one up, it's comparable, but it's also been on the market for a year. It has not sold. That's just what it's being asked for. That's why I brought that up.
No, but the line of thinking is your
And that's
assessed,
fine.
your assessed value would be, if we follow that same logic of 25%, your assessed value for your lot would then be more like in the
I think
$150,000.
1 in 3 would be 33%. And I'm good with that. But let's apply that to everybody.
Okay.
If there's $1 million,
Okay.
okay,
Thank you.
I'm good with that.
And I don't disagree with you, and they've addressed that they're working with some of that, so I hear you, and I agree we need to try and be as fair as we can and equitable across the board.
Sure.
So I trust the assessor is working on fixing those inequalities. So at this point in time, I see that we can make no adjustment, Mr. Chair.
Call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, on parcel, where'd it go? RPGF 400-2000, make a motion that we uphold the assessed value as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we upheld the value. You have the ability to appeal to the state or to go to the district courts. Other than that, then the decision of this board has been made.
Can I just give a short little statement about this, this short time frame of 3 minutes is very hard for someone to make a I didn't even get to read all my stuff. And also, I'd like to also say the short time frame the county gives people to make this appeal of 2 weeks is very, very short also. I think most people don't even bother with this because of the short time frame they have to make the decision to take off of work or to come down here and appeal something. And then when all we get is 3 minutes, I don't think that's fair at all. At all.
All right, thank you. Rebecca? Please state your name, and then your 3 minutes will begin.
My name is Rebecca Hathaway. I live at 5225 Daisy Lane in Pocatello. And last year I discovered a discrepancy on the valuation of my property versus 2 of my neighbors. My house has historically always been valued lower than them. And now for the last couple years, I have the most expensive house in the neighborhood. I live on a .40 lot, and the 2 houses that I'm talking about at 5171 Daisy Lane and 5183 are on 1.56 and 2.25 acres respectively. And although you did drop the value of my house by $50,000 this year, which I appreciate, it's still valued $50,000 too high. And the reason for that is that the house at 5183 was built in 2018 on the 2.25 acre lot. That is the most expensive house in the neighborhood, or should be. The house at 5171 Daisy Lane was built the same year as mine on the 1.56 acre lot. It's within 400 square feet of my house, and it has grade 5 finishes. My house is assessed at grade 4 finishes. And last year it was $90,000 more than mine. Now it's evened out a little bit this year, but I would rate my house as the 3rd most expensive house in the neighborhood. And 5183 would be the most expensive, and 5171 would be the 2nd expensive. Now, if we could talk about the quality of the house. When I bought the house, the city of Pocatello gave it an occupancy permit with no P-trap in the kitchen sink and with plumbing underneath the kitchen sink that when I ran the dishwasher for the first time, it flooded the entire kitchen floor. I've had shower leaks. I had to put $6,000 worth of insulation in my house this year. The guy that did it said, oh, that wasn't even code in 2002 when it was built. I had to put a new roof on this year because of the heat in the attic degraded the roof. I had to put a new furnace and air conditioner in because it's in the attic, and the condensate pump would freeze due to inadequate insulation, and it would flood my pantry. It's flooded my pantry 3 times since I've owned the house. I have paint peeling on the south side of my garage on the metal siding because it's so doggone hot. Now, I was told when I talked to the assessor that, oh, well, you're on a corner lot. Well, yes, I'm on a corner lot, but it's .40. It's not acreage. And yes, you can't divide the acreage, but you have privacy and you have buffers, and that land is worth something. It's worth a lot more than .40 of an acre. I also live on the corner of Johnny Creek and Daisy Lane.
Okay, thank you. Questions?
Nope.
Your time begins now.
Okay. So the subject property is a home built in 2002. It has 4,037 square feet and is assessed at $699,552. This was actually a reduction from last year's value of $754,273, reflecting a drop in the market, or at least the level of the market. The comparables that we have are homes that were built in 2007, 2005, and in 1995, a little bit older. They have various, their sizes are smaller, but the price per square foot comes out either equal to or if not significantly more than the subject property. We have hers at 151 square feet, $151 per square feet, and our first comparable comes in at $182 per square feet. Comparable 2 is $153 per square feet, and comparable number 4 is $165 per square feet. So that puts her right in at that price per square foot range, if not a little on the low side. They all have similar characteristics. They're fairly close to the property, to the subject property, although of course the subject property is bigger. I'm drawing a blank, sorry. So, based on the comparables that we found in her area, we request that the board uphold the values assessed for this year.
Okay. Do you have a question? Yes, ma'am?
I was just going to say real quick that these are all in the Johnny Creek area. They're all within subject property. Thank you.
Questions about what they just said?
Well, no two houses are alike. And what you're doing is you're taking sales data and you're applying them over to the criteria of each house. And I am saying that my house is a lower quality than some of these other houses. In fact, the builder that built the house no longer does business in Pocatello. That's how shoddy his workmanship is. And this house, I have spent over $40,000 in the last 2 months on this house due to shoddy materials that were used to build the house. It looks great from the street. I have the nicest yard in the neighborhood is what people tell me, so I like to garden, and so I spend a lot of time outside. So, I don't know, maybe it's being street appraised at that value.
All right, thank you. Questions, comments?
Do you have receipts for the repairs that you've done?
Yes, I do. Would you like to see them?
Yes, please.
This is for the roofing, the insulation, and the furnace. You'll see it was about $6,300 for the insulation, about $13 and change for the furnace and air con due to the lower quality furnace that was in the house and leaked all over my pantry 3 times. And the roofing was $23,000. And they say that the heat in the attic contributed to it degrading so quickly.
Given this information, Mr. Chair, I'd be willing to reduce the value of this because back in January, this would have been some substandard.
And the only discussion I would have on that is that they've already pulled from $93,000 to $81,000 for the property. And they already went from $661,000 to $618,000 for the value from last year's assessed value.
Right. But again,
I don't think that took this into consideration, though, probably. This was their just original assessment, right?
correct.
Yeah.
This,
On January 1 of this year. That's what the value should have been. When were these done?
These were done in June, May, so they were done in this year. So as of January, the house would have been deficient these items, which I think speaks to hers, and so that's why
Which says that they marked it off, in my opinion, because they took,
but they didn't know because they just did an external
yeah.
appraisal.
Oh,
And-
You tell me what you're looking
I
at.
have another question too,
Okay.
before we get too far along here. Were there no sales on Daisy Lane that you could have comped? Okay.
No.
There's a house that's.
Okay,
Okay.
Give me a second here, Mr. Chair. Am I missing, let's see, the Lennox. Quotes. How much was the roof?
23.
Okay. Oops.
It was done by CCX Roofing here in Pocatello.
All right, so, given that. The assessed value is 618, is that right?
618, 552 for the improvements.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we change the value of the improvements to reflect the deficiencies in the construction to $581,642 and leave the lot as is currently valued.
Do you have a total?
Give me a second and I'll get that for you. Lot value is 81. Total, so that take the total value to 662,642.
we have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, there's been an adjustment made
It's just the improvement.
from $699,552 to $662,642, with the adjustment being made on the improvements. You have the ability to appeal. The assessor's office has an ability to appeal. Both can go to the state, or both can go to district courts. But this board's made a decision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judy?
Hello.
Hello. Please announce yourself, and then your 3 minutes will begin.
I'm Judy Swenson, and I'm here to appeal mostly the lot value, but also the house value of my assessment. At the beginning of January, according to Zillow, the value of my home went down about $50,000 from last year. And you guys were kind enough to reduce the current value by about $100, but you increased my lot value by $24,000. And my question is, what is that increase in value based on? There aren't any homes in my neighborhood that have sold, single-family homes in my neighborhood that have sold. And we haven't done anything to improve the lot, to do anything different with the lot. So why are we looking at a $24,000 increase in the lot value? And why am I looking at only a $100 decrease in the value of the home, the structure? That's all I had.
And as I read this, you got a $10,000 reduction
In what?
in the value of your improvements, your home. Last year was $382,064, and this year it's $372,769. That's a $10,000 reduction. You did get an increase, but we'll go ahead.
Okay.
Any
Well,
questions?
still, the value of the home, according to Zillow, according to them at the beginning of this year, was down $50,000 from last year.
And Zillow's not an official site, so,
Well,
okay.
Okay.
Any questions?
No question.
Okay, your 3 minutes begin.
All right, so the subject property is a 3,248 square foot home built in 2000. It's valued at $400,769, and accounting for land and outbuildings comes in at about $113 per square foot. Our comparables homes are from a little bit up the hill, but they all have similar builds, similar characteristics. Accounting for land and outbuildings, they range from $103 per square foot up to $133 per square foot. So we feel that the improvement value that we put on there is comparable to those, if not, again, maybe it's right smack in the middle is kind of where it is. Have a nice bracket there. The land went up from our assessed value last year by $1,245. Now, there was a BOE decision that dropped that land lower, but our assessed value only went up $1,245, bringing it into equity with all of the subject's neighbors. And as you can see on our comparables list, as you go farther up that hill in that highland area, the land values increase as they go up the hill, or if they're closer to the golf course. And so that's where you're seeing that's the land values are higher on those comparables than they are where she's at. The sales analysis for this assessment period showed a median value of, again, $68,000 for the area that she's in, for those parcels that are down towards the bottom of the hill. And that's what we assessed this parcel at. So that's where that number comes from. And again, you know, the improvement value did go down. It went down quite a bit from the assessed value, but with the BOE decision, you know, sometimes that skews things a little lower. So we feel that this is a very accurate assessment, and we would ask you to uphold this assessed value for parcel RPSHE 00700.
Questions about what he just stated?
no, I mean, the value of our home is, according to Zillow, is higher than any of the other properties on our street.
Okay,
And
this
where-
isn't a discussion back and forth.
That's it.
Do you have a comment?
Yes, I would like to just state that those are 2022 assessed values that are out there on the map, that those are not 2023 values. All land has been brought back in, and we did a massive land project last year, and we brought them all up to value and all within equity. So if those values that are being looked at on our parcel viewer, those are all 2022 values.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners?
Well, I looked at Zillow, and Zillow has an estimated value of the property in question today of $521,800, and being generous and assuming a 10% growth in the market, and then adjusting for time backwards, that would put me at a value of $490,000. And then for a comparable, I looked at another real estate site that had the home valued at about $475, adjusted for value back, would put it at $450. So based on what I see, we're still about in line with what the assessor says the property should be valued at $440. So,
Call for motion.
Mr. Chair, on parcel RPSHE 000700, I would make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
So we upheld their value. You have the ability to appeal this, and so do they. You can go to the state taxes commission and appeal this, or you can go to the district court.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you for your time.
right. We have the PNB Family Trust. And this is actually a duplex, or a fourplex, that actually shouldn't have been involved in these discussions.
Up to a fourplex, it's residential. Fiveplexes and above will be commercial.
Our rules,
Oh,
our
gotcha.
rules
Gotcha.
Oh.
Okay, sorry.
is, this is business, it isn't residential. Yours is a little different, ours, but maybe that's why Mr. Bitten didn't appear, is because he thought that what he wrote in here was,
Was sufficient.
that's the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to write it and then we evaluate it. It is a fourplex, and I think that he has a pretty good question though. Went from 126, or 123,963 to 302,299. I mean, that's a very substantial increase. Land value went down 13,000, but the improvements went up substantially. But it's been 123 for the last, well, since 19. Any comments?
Yes, we were at the tail end of perfecting all the converted parcels. Duplexes and fourplexes were kind of in the last little bunch that we did. So once we got it converted, sketched, perfected in our system, it brought it up to value. So his value hasn't been coming up with other parcels in the area, and so it is a big
jump at once.
a big jump at once, but now we've got it at market value. It will hopefully not see another big jump. We don't know.
Well, and you
But
go back to
it is all based on-
2019, it was a 231,
286.
286,442. And so we'd be kind of in line, but he come to BOE and was not clean back to,
I think that's what happened. I think it went to BOE and then they had a sound value put on it at that point, and that sound value never got taken off. So it kind of stayed flat, 120 for the value of the improvement, 123, 123, 123. It should have come up in 2020, and it didn't. It was just an oversight on our part where we didn't uncheck that sound value, I believe.
comments?
Nope.
I would also state that right in the subject's testimony and complaint, that he does state that it is at fair market value. He agrees with the value.
He just doesn't like the sharp increase all at once, and I see his.
Neither do I.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and it, actually, if you go 10% a year appreciation, he's well below what the market value is, so that's why he was willing to accept that. So, Mr. Chair, on parcel RP, POC 399400, I make a motion that we uphold the assessed value as presented.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Burton Brown. What does it say here? Why do you believe the market value is correct? Purchased 19 months ago for $28,000, no improvements have been made, bare ground. He says that, but he doesn't give us any information. I mean, all we have is the original appeal sheet. And this is 3 acres. Where's it located? It's under, up at the Lava.
Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain. Mr. Chair, on parcel RPRR TMR 019900, due to a lack of a preponderance of evidence, I make a motion that we uphold the assessed value.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That being said, I'd ask for motion to go back into the Board of County Commissioners.
Mr. Chair, I would make that motion.
We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
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 And with that being said, we are adjourned till tomorrow.